You're sitting across from each other at dinner and you realize you haven't really looked at them in weeks. Not looked at them, you've seen them. You've existed in the same space. You've had logistical conversations about groceries and bills and whose turn it is to do the dishes. But you haven't actually seen them, haven't asked how they're really doing, haven't been curious about what's going on in their inner world. When was the last time you went on an actual date? Not dinner out of convenience, but a date. When was the last time you dressed up for them, flirted with them, tried to make them laugh? When was the last time you put your phone down and gave them your full attention for more than 5 minutes? You can't remember. And that realization sits heavy in your chest because you used to try. In the beginning, you tried so hard. You planned things. You showed interest. You made them feel special. You gave them your best energy, your best self. Now they get your leftovers, the exhausted, depleted version of you that's given everything to work, to stress, to everyone else. They get what's left, and what's left isn't much. You remember when you used to send them texts in the middle of the day just because something reminded you of them. A funny thought, a random, I love you. Now your texts are transactional. Can you pick up milk? What time will you be home? Don't forget we have that thing Saturday. You used to stay up late talking. About everything. About nothing. Just wanting to be in each other's presence. Now you're both on your phones in bed, scrolling past each other's actual lives to watch strangers on the internet. You say goodnight without even looking up. The romance has died. Not because you stopped loving them, but because you stopped doing the things that made them feel loved. You stopped trying to impress them, stopped caring if they found you attractive. You wear your rattiest clothes around them. You don't bother with the small gestures anymore. You've gotten comfortable, and comfortable has turned into complacent. You give your best to everyone else. You're charming with your coworkers, patient with your friends, attentive in meetings, but when you come home to the person you claim to love most, you're irritable, short, distracted. You have nothing left to give because you already gave it all away. They've become part of the furniture. You expect them to be there. You assume they always will be. So you don't protect what you have. You don't nurture it. You don't feed it. You just take and take, assuming the love you built in the beginning will sustain itself forever without any maintenance. You've stopped saying thank you. They do things for you every single day: cook, clean, handle things, show up, and you don't acknowledge it. You've started keeping score. You notice everything they don't do and nothing they do. You criticize more than you appreciate. You point out flaws more than you express gratitude. The sex, if it happens, is routine, mechanical. You're both just going through the motions. There's no passion because there's no pursuit anymore. No build-up, no anticipation, no effort to create desire. You've stopped making them feel wanted, stopped making yourself feel desirable. You fight about stupid things. The real issue is never the dishes or the thermostat or whose family you're revisiting for the holidays. The real issue is underneath all of that. The real issue is that you both feel unseen, unappreciated, taken for granted. You both feel like you're in this alone, even though you're technically together. You've stopped being a team. You used to be partners. Now you're just two people living parallel lives in the same house. You don't ask for their input on decisions anymore. You don't share your struggles. You don't celebrate your wins together. You've become roommates who occasionally have obligatory sex. They've tried to tell you. Maybe not directly, but they've tried. They've asked to spend time together, and you've been too busy. They've reached for your hand, and you've pulled away to check your phone. They've tried to have a conversation, and you've given them half answers while watching TV. They've been asking for you to show up, and you've been showing them you have other priorities. You can feel them pulling away now. They've stopped trying to. They used to initiate plans, conversations, intimacy, and you were always too tired, too stressed, too busy. So they stopped. And now you're both just existing in this relationship that's dying from neglect. You tell yourself you'll make more effort later, when work calms down, when things are less stressful, when you have more energy. But later never comes. There's always something else. Always another excuse. Always another reason why today isn't the day to prioritize your relationship. And meanwhile, the gap between you grows wider. The resentment builds. The disconnection becomes the norm. And you're both wondering when it got like this. When you became strangers. When the love started feeling like obligation. The number one mistake that kills healthy relationships isn't cheating or fighting or incompatibility. It's this: you stop choosing them. Not in the big, dramatic way, in the small, daily ways. You stop making the effort. You stop prioritizing the relationship. You stop doing the things that made them fall in love with you. You assume that because you're committed, the work is done. But commitment isn't the finish line, it's the starting line. Here's what happens psychologically in the beginning of a relationship. You're in the courtship phase. Your brain is flooded with dopamine. You're excited. You're motivated to impress. You put effort into how you look, what you say, how you show up. You're intentional about creating connection. You plan dates. You ask questions. You listen. You try, but then you get comfortable. And comfort is where effort goes to die. There's a psychological phenomenon called hedonic adaptation. It's the tendency of humans to return to a baseline level of happiness regardless of positive changes in their life. You get the relationship you wanted, and the excitement fades. What once thrilled you becomes normal. What once felt special becomes expected. The person who used to make your heart race becomes part of your routine. And when something becomes routine, you stop appreciating it. You stop protecting it. You stop investing in it. This is why people who win the lottery often end up no happier than before. The adaptation kills the joy. And the same thing happens in relationships. You get the person. You stop pursuing. You think the hard part is over. You think now you can just coast. But relationships don't work on autopilot. They require constant intentional effort. And when you stop giving that effort, the relationship slowly deteriorates. There's also something called the mere exposure effect. The more familiar someone becomes, the less novel they are. Novelty drives attraction and interest. Familiarity breeds comfort, but also complacency. You stop seeing your partner as an individual with their own complexity, dreams, and inner world. You start seeing them as an extension of your life. As a known entity, and known entities don't get curiosity. They get assumptions. You assume you know everything about them. You assume they'll always be there. You assume they know you love them even though you stopped showing it. And those assumptions create distance. Then there's the issue of priority allocation. You have limited time and energy. In the beginning, your partner gets the majority of it. But over time, other things creep in. Work, stress, kids, if you have them, friends, hobbies, obligations, and your partner, because they're constant and committed, gets pushed to the bottom of the priority list. This happens because you're operating under a false sense of security. You think, they're not going anywhere, so I can focus on these other urgent things and come back to the relationship later. But relationships need ongoing attention. They need to be prioritized especially when they're stable, because that's how they stay stable. When you consistently give your partner your leftover energy, your leftover time, your leftover attention, you're telling them they're your lowest priority, and that message, even if you never say it explicitly, gets received. They feel it, and eventually, they either shut down or leave. There's also the concept of positive sentiment override versus negative sentiment override. In healthy relationships, there's positive sentiment override. You interpret your partner's actions generously. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You see the good. But when you stop putting in effort, when you stop appreciating and connecting, that positive sentiment erodes. It flips to negative sentiment override. Now everything they do annoys you. You interpret their behavior in the worst possible light. They're not tired. They're lazy. They're not stressed. They're ignoring you. You've stopped looking for the good, so all you see is the bad. And they feel that shift. They feel your criticism, your irritation, your lack of generosity, and it makes them withdraw even more. The biggest psychological trap is this belief that love is a feeling that sustains itself, that if you really love someone, the relationship will just work. But love isn't just a feeling, it's a practice, it's a verb, it's something you do, not just something you feel. When you stop doing love, stop showing affection, stop expressing appreciation, stop creating moments of connection, the feeling starts to fade too. Not immediately, but gradually, because feelings need to be fed by actions. When the actions stop, the feelings weaken. You think you're saving your energy by not making effort. You think your relationship is solid enough to withstand neglect. But what you're actually doing is starving your relationship. You're withdrawing deposits from the relationship bank without making any new ones. And eventually, the account goes into the negative. Every relationship has what psychologist John Gottman calls an emotional bank account. Positive interactions are deposits, negative interactions are withdrawals. But here's what people don't realize. Neutral interactions, the autopilot, going through the motions daily existence, those don't count as deposits. They're just zero. If you're not actively making deposits through intentional kindness, appreciation, quality time, and effort, your account is draining. And when a conflict happens, when a withdrawal occurs, there's nothing to buffer it. The relationship can't handle the negative because there's no positive reserve to draw from. This is why relationships that look fine on the surface suddenly fall apart. It's not sudden, it's been dying slowly from lack of nourishment, from lack of effort, from being taken for granted. And by the time both people realize what's happening, there's often too much resentment, too much distance to bridge back. The solution isn't complicated, but it does require something most people aren't willing to give: consistent, intentional effort. Not just when you feel like it, not just when things are bad. Always you have to choose your partner every single day. Not in a forced, performative way, but in small, genuine ways. You have to actively fight against complacency. Start with presence. Put your phone down when they're talking to you. Look at them. Actually listen to what they're saying instead of just waiting for your turn to talk or thinking about your to-do list. Give them your full attention for at least a few minutes every day, not while you're doing something else. Just presence. Ask them questions, real questions, not "How was your day?" while you're staring at a screen. Ask about their inner world, what they're thinking about, what they're worried about, what they're excited about, what they need from you. Treat them like someone you're still getting to know, because you are. People grow and change. You don't know everything about them. Stay curious, express appreciation out loud regularly, thank them for the things they do that you've started taking for granted. Notice their effort, notice their presence, notice the ways they show up for you, and acknowledge it. People need to feel seen and valued. Your partner is no exception. Prioritize time together, not time in the same room while you're both doing separate things. Actual quality time. Dates, conversations, shared experiences. It doesn't have to be expensive or elaborate. It just has to be intentional. Put it on the calendar if you have to. Treat your relationship like it's as important as your work meetings and your other commitments. Because it is. It's more important. Keep dating them. Keep trying to make them smile. Keep flirting. Keep creating romance. Don't let the relationship flatline into domestic routine. You don't have to be in the honeymoon phase forever, but you do have to maintain some level of playfulness and pursuit. Make them feel desired, make them feel chosen. Do the small things, the things you used to do before you got comfortable. Bring them coffee, leave them notes, send them a text that isn't about logistics, touch them when you walk by, kiss them like you mean it, hold their hand. Physical affection matters. Don't let it die just because you've been together for a while. And here's the most important part. Make them a priority, not an option. Your partner should not be getting the scraps of your energy and attention. They should not be the thing you get to when you have time left over. They should be near the top of your priority list, consistently, even when life is demanding. This doesn't mean neglecting everything else. It means consciously allocating your best to the person you're building a life with. It means protecting your relationship from the creep of complacency. It means recognizing that your relationship is not self-sustaining. It needs you, both of you, actively participating, actively choosing, actively loving. If you've already fallen into the complacency trap, it's not too late. But you have to start now. You have to have the conversation, acknowledge that you've both stopped trying, take accountability for your part, and commit to showing up differently. Don't wait for them to go first. Don't wait until it feels easier. Don't wait until you have more energy. Start making deposits now. Start choosing them now. Start being the partner you were at the beginning, the partner you'd want if the roles were reversed. The relationship you have is the relationship you're creating with your daily choices. If you're choosing Netflix over conversation, if you're choosing your phone over presence, if you're choosing comfort over effort, You're choosing a relationship that will eventually die from neglect. Love is not a permanent state you achieve. It's a daily practice, a choice you make over and over, and the moment you stop choosing, you start losing. Your partner is not guaranteed. They are not obligated to stay just because they're committed. They will stay if the relationship feeds them, if it makes their life better, if they feel valued, seen, and loved. If you stop providing that, someone else eventually will, or they'll just leave. Don't let a healthy relationship die because you stopped trying. If this was the wake-up call you needed, we're here every week cutting through the noise. Subscribe to stay connected to these real conversations. Your relationship is worth the effort. Choose it.